Have you ever noticed that helping others can be one of the most beautiful acts of humanity? Yet, in the wrong hands, it can become the very thing that drains the life out of you. Helping someone in need says so much about your heart, your compassion, your willingness to lift another soul when they're down. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone deserves your help. I know, it sounds harsh. But I'm not talking about abandoning people who are genuinely lost, struggling, or reaching for a hand to pull themselves up. No, I'm talking about a very different kind of person. The kind who takes your helping hand and drags you down with them. Some people don't actually want help. They want to use you. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake their grip for gratitude, when really, it's a trap. So today, let's get very clear. There are 8 types of people you need to think twice about before helping. 1. The perpetual victim. You know this type. They're always in some kind of crisis, always surrounded by chaos, yet somehow never responsible for any of it. Disaster after disaster, misfortune after misfortune, but magically, it's never their fault. They thrive on sympathy and soak up attention like it's oxygen. At first, you think you're helping. You offer your hand, but they don't just take it, they grab your arm, your energy, your peace of mind, and no matter how much you give, nothing changes. Why? Because they don't want to change. They thrive in a cycle where life happens to them, where everyone else is to blame, and they're powerless to do anything about it. Here's the hard reality. When you keep helping someone who refuses to take responsibility, you're not lifting them up, you're enabling them. You're feeding the very dysfunction that's keeping them stuck. Helping is about supporting someone who's ready to walk. Enabling is about carrying someone who refuses to stand. And that's not kindness, it's self-sacrifice without purpose. It's not about turning your back completely. But you do need to stop letting their endless drama consume you. Save your energy for those who are truly willing to grow, who are open to change. Because not everyone is ready, and you cannot force readiness on someone who's not there yet. 2. The chronic complainer. Then, we have the complainers. Oh, you know the kind. No matter what happens, it's never enough. You could hand them the world on a silver platter, and they'd still point out the scratches. Move mountains for them? They'll complain about the view. And here's the trap. You try to help. You try to fix things. But it doesn't matter. It's never good enough. And over time, their constant negativity doesn't just frustrate you, it starts to drain you. It makes you doubt yourself. Question if you're the problem. But trust me, it's not you. It's them. Being around someone who constantly complains is like breathing in toxic air. Eventually, it starts to poison your spirit. They don't want solutions. They're not interested in change. What they want is an audience for their grievances, a stage for their dissatisfaction. Helping them? It's like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much you give, it will never hold. And when you're left empty, they'll still say it's not enough. Some people are comfortable in their misery because it gives them a story, an identity, a reason to blame the world instead of themselves. But you can't fix what they have no intention of fixing. The longer you try, the more time, energy, and joy you lose. So ask yourself, am I giving my energy to the right people? Am I helping those who are moving forward, or am I just fueling someone else's cycle of chaos and complaint? Your time is precious. Protect it. Surround yourself with people who are committed to growth, not those who drain you dry. 3. The entitled. And then, there are the entitled. These people don't ask for help, they expect it. They don't appreciate it, they demand it. They walk through life with the belief that the world owes them something, and that includes you. They believe they're entitled to your time, your energy, your resources, your very peace of mind. And the worst part? They don't even see the sacrifices you're making. No thanks, no acknowledgement, just an expectation that you will show up every time, without question. You've met them before. The ones who act like you should be grateful they even allow you into their life. When they hit a problem, they don't ask if you can help, they assume you will. They expect you to drop everything, set aside your own struggles, and cater to theirs. Here's the truth they don't want to hear. You don't owe them. Not your time, not your energy, not your life force. So here's the thing. Your kindness is powerful, but it is not infinite. And just like we saw with the entitled, your help should never be treated like someone's right. Your kindness is not an obligation. Your help is not a debt you owe. If someone can't respect your time, your effort, or the generosity you extend, then the truth is, they don't deserve it. Let this be a wake-up call. You must set boundaries. You have to notice when your help is being taken for granted, and you have to stop giving to those who only ever take. Because here's the flip side. There are people who truly appreciate your help, who are grateful for your support, and who are actively working to improve themselves. Those are the ones worth pouring into. But the ones who drain you, the ones who demand but never give back, who take without gratitude, it's time to let them go. Protect your energy, protect your time, and above all, protect your peace. Some people expect you to always be there, ready and waiting to meet their needs. And here's the worst part. When you do help them, when you give and give, you can't expect gratitude, you can't expect appreciation. To them, your kindness isn't a gift, it's something they believe they're entitled to. They see the world as owing them, and you're just footing the bill. They'll take your time, your energy, your resources, and then they'll move on to the next person without so much as a thank you. No recognition, no humility. When you're finished helping, don't hold your breath for acknowledgement, it won't come. They won't value your effort or your sacrifice because, in their mind, they were owed it, they needed something, and you just happened to be the one to provide it. And that's the real danger of dealing with entitled people. You can pour your heart and soul into helping them, but it won't teach them humility, hard work, or gratitude. Instead, it teaches them that manipulation works. That as long as they keep expecting and demanding, someone will eventually give in. But one day, you'll hit your limit. You'll realize that despite everything you've given, nothing has changed. They're still entitled, still expecting more, and it will hit you. You've wasted your energy on someone who never intended to grow. That's when you must draw the line. You need to separate those who are truly grateful from those who are simply taking advantage. Helping others is a beautiful, necessary thing in this world, but you must recognize when help turns into enabling. You must see when your kindness is fueling entitlement instead of fostering gratitude. There is only so much of you to go around. Your time, your energy, your effort, these are precious. If you keep giving them to people who don't appreciate them, you're doing yourself harm. Protect your peace. That means setting boundaries and refusing to give to those who see your generosity as their right. And yes, saying no is hard, especially for those of us who naturally want to help. But you must learn to say no to those who refuse to learn. To those who expect everything while offering nothing in return. Because if you don't, they will keep draining you, leaving you exhausted, bitter, and resentful. Recognize entitlement for what it is. Stop allowing people to take from you without gratitude. Stop feeding that sense of arrogance and expectation. When you help, do it because you choose to, not because you feel forced. Help those who see kindness for what it truly is, a gift. Help those who are willing to work for it and understand its value. And most importantly, protect your own peace. Because at the end of the day, entitled people won't appreciate you, and you'll be left drained, frustrated, and unappreciated. So learn to walk away. Learn to say no. Your life will be better for it. 4. The habitual liar. Another type of person you must be cautious with is the habitual liar. These people have polished deception into an art form, to the point where they can no longer tell the difference between truth and fiction. They weave lies so often, so seamlessly, that even they start to believe their own stories. And these aren't clumsy lies, they are carefully crafted tales, dripping with emotion, designed to pull at your heartstrings. They know exactly how to work your empathy, exactly how to make you feel like you are the only person who can help. Their stories are so vivid, so convincing, that you never stop to question them. And that's the trap. They are masters at creating urgency, at making you feel their needs so deeply that you jump in without hesitation. You give your time, your energy, your resources, believing you're making a real difference. But here's the harsh truth. Habitual liars don't just tell the occasional white lie to smooth things over. For them, deception is second nature. They've done it for so long that reality has become blurry. And when you're trying to help someone like this, you have no way of knowing what's true, what's exaggerated, and what's completely fabricated. Then comes the gut punch. You uncover the truth, that their story was never as desperate as they made it seem. And suddenly, you feel betrayed, used. You poured your heart into something that wasn't real. You invested in a lie. Helping someone like this doesn't just waste your time, it damages your trust. You start to question everything. Was anything they said true? How many other lies have they told? Before you know it, your faith in people starts to crumble. You second-guess every plea for help. You wonder if you're being played again. And that's the true danger of dealing with habitual liars. They leave behind a trail of doubt, confusion, and mistrust. They make you question your own judgment, your ability to tell truth from deception. Moving forward becomes harder. You don't know who to believe anymore. You don't know if the next person asking for help is genuine, or just another manipulator in disguise. And when you've been burned like that, you carry the scar. After being burned by a habitual liar, you have to be more guarded than ever. The pain of betrayal leaves a mark, but it can also sharpen your instincts if you let it. So how do you deal with a habitual liar? First, call them what they are. Stop making excuses for their behavior. Stop telling yourself, maybe, just maybe, this time they're telling the truth. Because every time you buy into their stories, you're not just believing a lie, you're enabling it. With habitual liars, trust must be earned, never handed out freely. Pay attention to patterns, watch for inconsistencies, hold them accountable for their words. If someone has a proven history of bending the truth, don't be so quick to accept what they say at face value. Ask for proof, test their sincerity, and above all, don't let their dishonesty shake your confidence in yourself or in humanity as a whole. Not everyone is a liar. Not everyone is out to manipulate. But once you've crossed paths with someone who is, you need to be wiser. Protect your heart, your time, and your energy. Learn from the experience, and move forward with discernment, because trusting the wrong person doesn't just waste your time. It damages your ability to trust the right ones. Here's the danger. The more you give, the more they take, and before you know it, you're tangled in their web, unsure how to break free. The key is to recognize the pattern. Liars don't just tell one falsehood and walk away, they lie repeatedly. Twisting details, altering timelines, and always coming up with excuses to cover their tracks. If you've already helped someone who has lied to you in the past, ask yourself this: do you really want to keep enabling this cycle? Do you want to keep pouring your time, your heart, and your energy into someone who disrespects not only the truth, but also you? If you don't put a stop to it, you'll keep ending up in the same place, helping someone who neither deserves nor appreciates your efforts. When that happens, you're not helping anyone, least of all yourself. You have to draw a firm boundary and say, enough. Stop giving your energy to someone who can't even give you honesty. Stop trying to fix what isn't broken, because they're not looking for a solution. They're looking for another way to manipulate you. It's a hard lesson, but a necessary one. Once you've been deceived by a liar, you have to be even more cautious going forward. Guard your peace, guard your time, and above all, refuse to enable those who refuse to live in truth. Recognize a liar for who they are, and don't get pulled back into their deception, because they will leave you feeling betrayed and drained. And no one deserves that. 5. The opportunist. Next on the list is a very different kind of danger, the opportunist. The opportunist is a different breed entirely. Smooth, persuasive, charming in a way that makes you feel special, like helping them is the opportunity of a lifetime. They speak with such confidence, such passion, that you can almost see the vision they're painting in your mind. You start to believe you're about to be part of something monumental. But here's the truth about opportunists: they talk big, but it's all smoke and mirrors. Their words might sparkle, but they're hollow. There's no real substance behind the promises. They aren't interested in building something with you. They're interested in what they can take from you. Think of them like leeches. They attach themselves to you when you're thriving, when you're in a position to give, when your generosity is at its peak. They drain your resources, your time, and your energy, all while making it seem like a fair exchange. But in reality, it's one-sided. They're using you to push their own agenda forward. And once they've taken everything they need, they vanish. Suddenly they're gone, and you're left standing there wondering, how did I let this happen? You question yourself. You replay every conversation, every decision, trying to figure out how you gave so much to someone who was never in it for the long haul. The hardest part? You probably won't see it coming. Opportunists are skilled at what they do. They make promises. They make you feel like you're on the same team, working toward a shared dream. But it's all a performance. In reality, you're just a stepping stone. The moment they get what they came for, they move on to the next target, without loyalty, without a second thought, without even looking back. And you're left picking up the pieces, realizing too late that you were just a means to an end. It's so easy to get caught in their web because they know exactly how to make you feel valued. They make you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. But when they disappear without warning, the illusion shatters. By the time you realize the truth, you've already given away your time, your energy, your resources, to someone who was never going to reciprocate. The opportunist doesn't care about you. They don't care about your dreams, your goals, or your well-being. They care only about their own success. And if using you gets them closer to it, they will do it without hesitation. They will take everything they can, and when they're done, they'll walk away without a trace. All you'll be left with is the sting of betrayal, and the lesson you must carry forward. Because if you don't learn to recognize the signs, it will happen again. We just talked about how opportunists can disguise themselves behind charming words and big visions. Now, let's take that warning one step further, because the danger isn't just from strangers you barely know. The first red flag? When someone starts making grand promises but can't show you a clear plan. Or worse, never follows through with real action. That's your cue to take a step back. Pay attention to patterns, when they're always asking for help, for time, for resources, yet they never seem to give anything back. That's when your guard needs to go up. Stop seeing potential in people who only see you as a stepping stone. Stop believing in big visions backed only by empty words. Opportunists are everywhere, and if you allow them, they will take advantage of you. They'll make you feel like you're part of something meaningful, only to vanish the moment it no longer benefits them, leaving you standing there, confused, wondering how you got played. You cannot let that happen. You cannot keep investing your time, energy, and trust into people who don't have your best interests at heart. Recognize the opportunist early, and walk away before they drain everything from you. Your time, your energy, your resources, they're precious. Give too much of them to the wrong person, and you'll be left with nothing in return. And here's a hard truth. Sometimes the opportunist isn't a stranger. Sometimes, it's someone you've trusted for years. Maybe even someone you consider family. That's what makes it so hard to see the truth. They might wear a familiar face, but the signs are there if you pay attention. When they only call you when they need something, when they take, but never give, when they make you feel like you should be grateful just to be part of their plans, yet they never include you when success finally comes. That's when you have to see them for who they really are. This isn't about becoming cynical, it's about being wise. Protect yourself. Don't let the opportunist exploit your kindness, your time, or your generosity. If you give them the chance, they will drain you, use you, and leave you picking up the pieces, wondering why you didn't see it sooner. So, be alert. Opportunists are smooth, persuasive, and skilled at hiding their real intentions. But once you start recognizing the signs, once you see through the performance, you can stop giving to people who only see you as a tool for their own gain. That's when you begin to win, because you stop wasting your time on those who don't deserve it, and start investing in the ones who truly value you, who appreciate what you bring to the table, and are willing to give just as much as they take. Now, let's talk about the sixth type of person to watch out for. The drama seeker. I'm sure you've met them. You can spot them from a mile away. They always seem to be in the middle of some crisis, some fight, some mess. But I'm not talking about genuine life hardships that happen to all of us. No, these are people who cannot function without chaos. If life around them is peaceful, they'll stir something up just to feel alive. Conflict fuels them, like water to a plant. Without it, they wither. And while you might try to help, to fix things, to bring calm into their life, here's the truth. You cannot fix someone who thrives on drama. You can't calm a storm they're actively creating. The more you try to fix it, the worse it gets. The more you intervene, the more you get pulled into their whirlwind. Before long, you're no longer the helper. You're just another character in their never-ending soap opera. Another pawn in their game of emotional manipulation. The reality is, drama seekers don't want peace. They don't want real solutions. They want attention. They want to be the center of the story. They want you to feel sorry for them, to drop everything you're doing and rush to their side. And you do, because you care. But when you do that, you're not fixing anything. You're feeding the drama, making it grow stronger. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. They'll keep you hooked with new crises, new conflicts, new stories to pull you deeper into their chaos. Helping them isn't really helping, it's enabling the very cycle that keeps them trapped. And by doing so, you get trapped too. I'm not saying you should never help people in need. Compassion is important, but you need wisdom to know when your help is no longer help, it's fuel for the fire. You need the strength to say no, to step back when you realize your involvement is making things worse. And yes, that takes courage, but it's courage that will save you from losing yourself in someone else's endless storm. We just talked about how protecting your peace sometimes means walking away from drama. But there's another type of person who can drain you just as fast, without raising their voice or causing a scene. They don't stir up storms in public. Instead, they quietly pull from you, piece by piece, until you're left wondering why you feel so empty. These are the takers. Takers aren't always easy to spot. They're not necessarily the ones who boldly ask for help every single time. No, they're far more subtle. They'll greet you with a warm smile, make you feel seen, even build what feels like a real connection. You might start to think, this person really has my back. But the moment you're in need, they vanish. Calls go unanswered, messages are left on read. And just like that, you're reminded, it was never about you. Takers are experts in their craft. They know exactly how to get what they want without you even realizing you're giving it. They don't offer love. They don't offer support. They certainly don't offer loyalty. The focus is always on their problems, their needs, their goals. And when you help them, oh, they know how to play the part. They say all the right things, show just enough appreciation to make you feel good about your decision. For a while, you convince yourself, this is fine. They appreciate me. But here's the hard truth. You're the one doing all the giving. And they're doing all the taking. When it's their turn to step up, they're gone, already leaning on someone else's generosity. Helping a taker leaves you drained, not just tired, but hollow, like you poured everything out and got nothing in return. The worst part? You start blaming yourself. I should have known better. I saw the signs. Why didn't I walk away? Deep down, you probably did know. But takers are good at masking their true intentions. They make you believe they're invested in the relationship, that they care, that they'll be there when it counts. Yet when it's time to reciprocate, there's always an excuse. They're too busy, caught up with something, having a tough week. Before you know it, you realize you've been played. Real relationships are built on balance. You give, and you receive. That's what makes it healthy, fulfilling, worth your energy. But takers don't believe in balance. They don't think about fairness or the weight you carry. In their world, people exist to serve their needs. They'll drain your time, your energy, your resources, without once stopping to consider what you've sacrificed. So what can you do? You stop giving without receiving. You stop pouring into someone who never pours into you. You recognize the pattern early and refuse to enable it. And most importantly, you give yourself permission to walk away. If someone only reaches out when they need something, think twice before giving them more of your time, your energy, or your love. Because if it's always about their problems, their goals, and never yours, that's not a relationship. That's a one-way transaction. And you're footing the bill. This isn't about being selfish. It's about self-respect. It's about valuing yourself enough to say, I deserve relationships where the giving flows both ways. Surround yourself with people who lift you up as much as you lift them. When you start setting boundaries with takers, something powerful happens. Your relationships become more meaningful. You stop feeling drained and start feeling energized. Because you're investing in people who invest in you. So watch for the signs. Recognize the takers. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. And most importantly, protect yourself. Guard your heart. And make sure the people in your life are there to build with you, not just take from you. Because you deserve relationships where love is mutual, trust is shared, and the giving never feels like a burden. And just when you think you've seen it all, there's another type you need to be ready for, the manipulator. They don't just want your help, they want control. It's not enough for them to receive kindness, they want to own you in that moment. They subtly twist situations to center themselves. And before you realize it, you're not acting out of generosity anymore, you're acting out of obligation. Kindness has turned into surrender. Manipulators are calculated. They study you. They learn your soft spots, your vulnerabilities, and exactly which emotional buttons to push. They know when you're tired, stressed, or unsure of yourself, and that's when they strike. They'll weave just enough of a sad story to stir your empathy, to make you feel guilty if you don't help. And before you know it, you're saying yes when every part of you wants to say no. You're doing things you wouldn't do for anyone else, not because you truly want to, but because they've mastered the art of making you feel like you owe them. Continuing from understanding takers, we now step into even more dangerous territory: manipulators. Manipulators are different. They don't just take from you, they make you feel responsible for their entire world. Helping a manipulator isn't like helping someone genuinely in need. No, it's more like feeding a beast that grows hungrier with every bite. The more you give, the more they demand. The more you sacrifice, the more they feel entitled to extract. Your generosity doesn't teach them gratitude. It doesn't encourage growth. It only fuels their sense of control, their hunger for power, and their belief that your time, energy, and attention exist solely to serve them. And here's the tricky part. You think you're being kind. You believe that helping them is the right thing to do. You convince yourself that by giving your time, energy, and resources, you're making a difference. But in reality, every act of generosity is a handcuff, chaining you to their will. You're allowing yourself to be trapped in an invisible cage of obligation, guilt, and manipulation. They've trained you to feel indebted, to feel responsible for their happiness. But whose happiness are you truly responsible for? Certainly not theirs. You are only accountable for your own. It's easy to fall into their web because manipulators are masters of subtlety. They know the exact words to say, the perfect timing, the precise emotional triggers to push. And if you resist, they can make you feel like the villain, selfish, cruel, uncaring, even when your inner voice knows that helping them only enables more harm. Their manipulation can make you doubt yourself. You might find yourself asking, am I the bad person for saying no? Am I failing them? Yet the truth is undeniable. Helping a manipulator will never change them. Your generosity becomes another opportunity for them to take. Every yes you give, every ounce of energy you pour in, becomes another chance for them to manipulate, drain, and control. And when it's all said and done, you're left feeling empty, as though you've given away pieces of yourself that you can never reclaim. Manipulators are not concerned with your feelings, your sacrifices, or the cost to your peace of mind. Their world revolves around what they can extract from you, and they are relentless. They will continue until they sense that you've had enough, or until there's nothing left to take. Now, this isn't to say you should never help anyone. Generosity is a vital part of being human, but discernment is essential. Not everyone who asks for help deserves it. Some requests are rooted in growth, reciprocity, or genuine need. Others are cunningly cloaked in manipulation, designed to control and exploit you. The key is learning to say no, learning to set boundaries, and, most importantly, learning to enforce them, even if guilt trips and emotional pressure follow. Helping a manipulator isn't kindness. It isn't generosity. It's surrender, your peace, your energy, your time, and even your self-respect. That is a cost you cannot afford. Protecting yourself means protecting your energy. The more you give to a manipulator, the more they take, and the less you have left for the people, goals, and dreams that truly matter. Stop dancing to their tune. Stop letting them convince you that their happiness, success, or well-being rests in your hands. You are not responsible for filling the gaps in someone else's life at the expense of your own. Boundaries are your greatest ally. Knowing where to draw the line, when to step back, and when to walk away is crucial. Just because someone asks for help doesn't mean they have the right to manipulate you into giving it. Your first responsibility is to yourself, your peace, your time, your energy, and your self-respect. Helping others is a beautiful, essential part of humanity, but only when done with awareness. Discernment ensures that your generosity enriches rather than depletes you. Ask yourself before offering help, is this person seeking growth, improvement, Or reciprocity? Or am I dealing with someone whose intent is only to take, manipulate, and drain? Helping the right people fills your soul. Helping the wrong ones empties it. You deserve a life where your energy remains intact, your spirit uplifted, and your kindness returned in kind. Choose wisely who earns a seat in the front row of your life. Not everyone deserves it. Once you understand this, you won't just be a better helper, you'll be stronger, wiser, and infinitely happier.